There we go. Okay, so this is Brent Mills, chair of the SAGE Circulation Committee, and today is January 18th, 2017. It's been a crazy week already. And this, I'm just going to kind of go over our agenda here. I realize that not as many people were able to attend this meeting. I mean, it's been pretty crazy related to the weather. And I guess we kind of had a soft launch with the upgrade since I don't think everyone's using it in force yet, so I haven't heard a whole lot negative or positive back, which could be good, could not be. So I'm just going to kind of go over our agenda today so people can look back on this video. Okay, so kind of the first thing to mention here is that the next meeting would be for the third Wednesday in February, which I have as the 15th at 10 a.m. Are people able to make that meeting? Is that something? I don't think that time should conflict with anything else. I didn't see any other meetings anyway. But I guess tentatively I will have that set and put that into the GoToMeeting for next month. Unless we hear otherwise. Okay. So kind of the big update was the upgrade, which happened on Sunday. There are a few little things that still need to get worked out with it, but overall functionality should be more or less 100% for people that are on circulation staff right now. There's a couple issues with people that are adding or cataloging records right now, which has to do with the re-ingest. I sent a message out to the listserv about that, but basically you'll just want to edit the mark of the record that is giving you these timeout errors and save it, and then go back and attempt to copy catalog again. And that should force that re-ingest, allowing you to do that without those messages. But we're the circulation committee, so I thought I would go over a few things that have changed. The upgrade regarding Circ. First up is the kind of new email receipts, which if you go to the staff client and you go to, let's go to Page Bookman. We'll go to a patron's record. You'll see this new opt-in field on their record for email checkout receipts by default. And when you check that, if you have an email address associated with your account, you should be receiving emails instead of printed receipts. But I've only been able, I was talking with Maura about this before we started to record. I've only seen this work with relation to the self-check right now, and I'm going to be poking around at that. So for example, if we go to, let's go to the self-check. And the self-check also has some features that have changed, so I can show you those. So now they'll log in with username or barcode, and this has been hard-coded in an update so that now there used to be an issue if the username was different than the barcode, it wouldn't work. They'd have to log in with the username as opposed to the barcode, but now either one is fine. So I'm going to log in, and you can note this new receipt option here, and there have been some refactoring or some redoing of the layout as well. Now that there's only one logout button, so that the option is that the patron will have to click none and then log out if they don't want a receipt. But the default right now is set to email, so that if I do put in a barcode here, keep checking it out, as soon as I hit log out, my checkout receipt will be emailed to me at the account or the email account that's in my record. And they did do, as far as usability, I think radio buttons, maybe not the best for touchscreens, which are generally what these are going to be used for, the self-checks. So I'm going to look into making these a little more press friendly. Kind of hard to hit that little dot, but that can be changed just with style. That's not going to be a big fix. But yeah, so that's a cool new feature to make sure that patrons can get an email receipt, and that has been tested and works on the self-check. Get Beth in here. Yeah, age protection notices now have changed or are there, and there is a difference between the staff and patron view of this, which I kind of want to highlight. So for example, let me get this. Oops, wrong one. So we have the Sully record, which just came up. We can see here these active and dates. And so this new kind of column is for staff members. People that are just looking at the record in the website are not going to see this. So what it basically says is that if there's age protection on it, you won't see anything. You'll get this none and a dash because it's not valid. However, if you do see active, the font will be orange to indicate that it's kind of like a warning, letting you know that it's there, as well as the date that it's going to expire. So we can already see just by quickly looking here that looks like Baker has the 3-month age protection, 3-month for Fossil 2. But it looks like Joseph is using a 6-month age protection. And there are a couple ways to handle this. I've kind of gone the way of just letting staff know. We could erase these age protections once they go away, but I thought it would be a little better to leave the 3 statuses there so that just people are aware of it. So for example, if we go to the Sully record in the web in the catalog, it'll simply just show that this copy is new and can only be picked up at this library. It won't tell them when, but this will go away as soon as the age protection time limit expires. But this is just kind of a new feature to let patrons know to expect maybe delays, or if they are a Fossil resident or Echo, to go to their library first before, checking out the others. So it looks like that to a patron. And when it does fall out of age protection status, for example, this Aziz Ansari one, you'll see this green expired, which just means that it did have age protection on it, but it has since expired. So you don't have to worry about that. Patrons won't see this at all. It'll just look like a normal book. But it's more to just give a visual heads up to staff that there was protection on that. So there's that. Right. There are a couple other features I kind of want to just go over, but I don't want to stop some things. There's so much. There's so much that has changed. Okay, with the social media options, I just want to highlight this is not currently set as a default for us because it's more overhead with regards to just loading a whole bunch of JavaScript that we probably shouldn't. And there's also some, if you really want to get into it, some privacy issues regarding, Twitter and all the other services that are pulling in information here. So if we want to kind of just check what that looks like, we can look at the test server. So if we go there now, you'll see just this top row here, which is the social section. So if a patron likes it, they can tweet it, and that will go out. I have to fix a little bit of that because it's giving it the wrong. They could also change it, but it basically starts with the title of the book and the link to the title itself, so you can tweet that if you want. You can also share that on Facebook or like it on Facebook or unlike it if you don't. And you can also pin it to your Pinterest if that's an account you have. And that will prompt you to launch your Pinterest account if you have a phone or in your browser as well. And this is something that also displays in mobile. So if you're in a mobile view, you'll just be able to click that and display that. So that's an option we have for libraries that might want to utilize that. Okay, there were a couple new video filters added in. You can see these when you go to the advanced search options. So right now it's just Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS. Can't really think of any other formats that most people would want to look for. We could add in Laserdisc or something like that, but I don't really see a whole lot of use for that. But we could, not a problem. And then audience as well, which goes to the audience field on the MARC record. But that was there, I think, before. There are a whole bevy of other options too, which you can see on the test server since it's a different search limiter. So you can kind of see the options here, but a lot of these are not things that we have to use. Okay. And all right, this new expand search to all libraries checkbox. This will work for both staff client and patrons that are searching the OPAC. So that if we, this is also, there's a lot that has changed. So if I do a search for, say, cats, as I want to do, we'll bring up, oops, I did this at Sage, which is a good example. So now you'll see these options below in this left gutter. These were usually above here, but have since moved down to the left to kind of enhance people that want to check it out or limit results on their mobile devices. It's also just kind of cleaner to have it in one section. But when we search at Sage, you won't see an option for expanding it. However, if I search for cats at the Baker level, there's a new little spinner there too. Keep an eye here on this section. We'll now see this show results from all libraries. And I put a little hint on that so when you hover over it, it'll give you an idea of what's happening. So that will expand the results to all libraries. But since we had previously looked for Baker, it would usually search just Baker, but since I have my account logged in right now, it shows my preferred library is Sage. So it will put Sage's ranks before. But if you're logged in as an account that has Hood River, for example, it'll filter Hood River items to the front. So clicking that will expand the results, and I think it's pretty nice. You can kind of also see if you've enabled checkout history, you'll get these green check marks letting you know that you've checked out an item before. That's kind of helpful for patrons if they want to scroll through things to see items they've already checked out, to make sure they don't do something or check out the same book twice. It's helpful. All right, and another big one is this Spanish locale picker. I'm gonna log out of my account right now just so we can see this, but this right here is a locale picker, and we have the options right now of English and Spanish. And once we choose Spanish and change it, let's not translate that back. Items that have tags will be translated. So you can kind of see everything here has been changed. Same with even the evergreen logo right there. We can go to the advanced search, see that even the filters are now in Spanish. And if I do a search, let's do the same thing, do a cat search. Bring that up. And we'll see there's a few things that are also translated here, so they'll be able to place a hold. Oh, looks like that's a little bit broken. But the link will work there, as well as, you can see the information here. When we go into a record, you'll see the available copies, total copies, as well as adding to list or printing. And as well as information here. The mark, so information in the mark will not be translated. So, so if this record, for example, has, you'll see if I bring the mark up here, any information here will stay coded in the language that it's in. So the 650s for girls are not going to be translated to Spanish or young adult fiction there. So for example, the genres will still, as well as the, the subject headings will still be in English. Oops. Okay, and I'll switch this back now. And now we're back into regular. Yeah. All right. Sorry. And one other thing I wanted to highlight too, just so that people are aware of the differences between the staff client and the regular, the OPAC view. If I search for, anything right now, let's say Sully, I had just searched for this. You'll see these record details and content descriptions, which are collapsible. But in the staff client, I have made it so that these are expanded by default. That is to just provide staff members as much information right away without having to expand it. However, if we look at the same record in the OPAC, you'll see that the content descriptions is collapsed. And that's because sometimes it had been getting so large that it just kind of overwhelmed the whole screen. But now that is collapsed by default, whereas in the staff client, it's expanded by default. It may be something to talk about at another meeting, but I don't know if I'm a huge fan of how giant the author display can get here. I'm wondering if there's some other way we can maybe work on that with mark records that, especially video, like television shows and DVDs about movies, because those can get pretty giant. Same with Game of Thrones, I believe. All right. Kind of a previous update, and these are still things to be aware of. the upgrade page, which is, put it into the chat. Just kind of more information about not just only what to expect now, about what is new. And this kind of goes over what I've already mentioned, but a little more in detail. There are a couple new features. For example, the sort by popularity has not been implemented yet, but we're going to get that sorted based on some parameters we put in. We'll fine tune that. And you can kind of see what I mentioned here about the difference between patron and staff, what it displays like. The only issue is this electronic resources limiter. That's no longer working right now, and that has to do with our special way of kind of having search filters. But I think there's a way to get that fixed. Also, in regards to Circ, we have a new canceled transit status. So if a transit is aborted or canceled, it'll be put into this canceled transit status, which is great because before, if you had just canceled a transit, I believe it would just go to reshelving, which is not the most kind of intuitive idea or status for what happens, because if you would cancel that transit, maybe it's not at your library, and you need to go find it to bring it back. So that's a new status that we've got. Let's check out receipts mentioned here, and then the rest is kind of going into cataloging and the staff client. Yeah, so that's some more information there. Z39 issues, it's kind of more for cataloging, but the two main kind of current outstanding issues with that are when you're searching in Z39, the order of the filters will kind of be erratic depending on time to time. So you can see ISBN is now up here at the top, but if I do it again and open up a new window, you can see that ISBN is all the way down here. So these are being sorted on, I assume, random fields, but yeah, that's still something ongoing you'll have to be aware of. As well as when you're bringing in records, to make sure to check all the mark, because there's been some issues with characters that are mangled. But that's not for the circulation committee. Okay, there aren't a lot of people here, so I'm just going to kind of mention some things. The lost in transit policy, I'm going to be working with Perry on that, but we got kind of held up with regards to the upgrade. So that's going to be pushed a little bit further into the future. But I don't really think that'll take long once we sit down and get a little serious about it. Same thing with the search filter. If you do an advanced search and use any of the available filters here, it will populate the search box, as you can see here, with stuff that not everyone understands unless you're a computer. So that's still something that happens, which is annoying, but as soon as that's fixed, I will put that in immediately. All right, and the transit policy, also going to be working with Perry on that. The upgrade email did go out, which is great. I think everyone wasn't too taken aback by it. And then there was also a kind of idea about what to do when multiple accounts exist when you're registering a patron, or maybe you find a duplicate account. So I've provided the link there, which is an editable link. And basically I've just kind of gone through a few things that I think are important, but we'll definitely go with some more eyes on them. basically involves just making sure on multiple fields that there is a duplicate account. There is going to be a way to search coming up on date of birth as well, which will be good as another check to see if the patron is a duplicate. If they have the same name and the same birthday, that's usually a good bit of information. Make sure they're scoped out to Sage. Make sure, I was not sure, I don't think that students are allowed duplicate cards at their school and public library, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know, Beth, do you or Maura happen to have any information about that?
Well, community college students certainly are encouraged to have both here anyway. And I think, I don't know about grammar school.
Well, yeah, we allowed public libraries and school libraries to have separate records
Okay, so yeah, so students,
just because there were different permissions and just different loan rules oftentimes,
yeah,
different policies. So we said that that was okay.
okay, so that's good to know. So that's for the community colleges, all the schools for the most part, right?
Yes, all the
Okay,
schools.
all right. And then what to happen if you do find a duplicate patron? Um, I think there have been some libraries that have been deleting one of the records and then just kind of, promoting the other record to be the only one, which is a way to do it. But I think it it doesn't help with patrons that need to maintain a certain kind of, if you want to look at their circulation history, fine history, basically any kind of um, any information that requires looking back on a patron, that can be lost entirely by doing that method. So I usually recommend merging them. But I wasn't sure if you found a duplicate patron, maybe I was looking at other libraries, how they do it, and with uh, Evergreen, Indiana, they had a kind of policy about that. Um, Basically, that they would be merged. Um, and but they did mention a joint request to merge the records to be sent to tech support. I don't know if that's exactly something that we should do here because I feel like that's just kind of going to take a little too long. I mean, I'm happy to do that, and if there are problems merging, that's also something we can do. But I also want to put that power kind of in the staff's hands if it's something we are okay with, which I think we are. Um, but I guess the main thing would be to make sure when you're merging them that they contain as much information or not more. Um, it would be not great to lose information such as emails, last name, uh, unless it's something the patron specifically requested they don't want. Um, but so like if we had done a search for, I think I might even have duplicate accounts. Um, so if you highlight the two accounts, you'll have this merge patrons option, which when you click that brings up this ability to check the lead record. And I think with regards to that, we should make sure that we're promoting the lead record that has the most information and to copy information from the subordinate record that we don't want and making sure that that's in there as well. That's just another step. I kind of proposed if we're doing a merge, maybe having a note in the record as well, just kind of with a timestamp in the login. That's more for, I think, Beth and my uh, reasoning, so that if we ever have to go back and look at problems with a patron, we have a place to kind of dig through the logs or at least check what had happened. Um, so that's kind of what I've been looking at. Also, there's a link here to Indiana's general kind of circulation policy, which is pretty great. And I definitely want to copy as much as we can from that. But they have a form for patrons that is sent kind of between if they have more than two accounts, or just, they have multiple accounts that you fill out this form, which could be good just as having for records. I don't know how often patron merging actually happens. I wouldn't think a whole lot, but again, I'm not on the front line with Circ, so that could be
I
something.
haven't heard it happen.
You
Yeah,
haven't
I
heard
haven't
it?
heard it happen very often.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of people moving between different towns in Umatilla County. So it's we right now aren't merging. We're deleting or having the other library delete their old one and entering a new Pendleton card.
Hmm.
And that was like a Umatilla County thing for a long time. So, I mean, if it changes, that's great. I mean, that would be fine. But it does happen pretty frequently here where people move and get a new card in a different town.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's definitely, I think, for that step, I was wondering if it might even, I don't think it would be too difficult to, like, if you'd created a new account for that patron,
Hmm.
and then just merge those two, the new one
Yeah,
and the old one. Um, that would be an option too, and that would have the benefit of maintaining all that patron's history,
right.
um, which is kind of the only issue I have with deleting those. Um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's totally possible. We'd still have to I mean, we still keep paperwork for everybody. I don't know how many libraries still
Hmm.
do that. I think most of Umatilla County does. So I still let them know that they could get rid of their old form, I guess.
Yeah. Is it kind of like a just a form that lets you know when you had merged an account or
No, I mean, we
delete?
keep like the paper applications in
Oh,
binders for all of our patrons still.
okay.
And I think probably most of the libraries in Umatilla County do. So, that you can pull that just to save space
Yeah.
if they. Mhm.
Okay. That's good to know. I was not aware of
Yeah.
that with you, Matilda. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, this is,
I do other places like scan them, or I mean, it would be great to move away from that eventually, but
I don't know. Do you happen to know, Beth? I know Kathy, who was in here for a hot second, mentioned that she's in Umatilla, but, or not Umatilla,
she's in Morrow
Oregon,
County, right?
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
But I think she does something similar with the paper records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's still paper records out there, and it's certainly not, I mean, not everybody's following the same policy, but most people keep some kind of paper trail.
Yeah, that would be good. There's definitely, I was looking through their circulation manual, and it would be helpful to have records like that for um, kind of, we need to get a little better at like purging these inactive patrons for when we have to do these state library reports. Um, kind of if it's a good way to kind of check, see when they were brought in and if you need to pull those paper records or not. I think what is it now, Beth, with the state library? Is it if they haven't been active in 3 years or had a circulation in three, or not to be counted?
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be good. Well, yeah, I definitely want to go through this a little deeper. But the link to Indiana's circ proceedings is right here, which I will actually just copy and put into chat. I mean, keep that in the chat log as well. But yeah, that's kind of just what I've been thinking about right now. And this is an open document. So if you click through to this, you'll be able to edit it. Be nice if you could kind of do a track changes or notes just so I know who's done the changing. But yeah, that's saved as well. So people can put any comments or notes in there as well, which kind of goes back into what Perry was mentioning with the existing accounts. Um, yeah, with especially regard to the fines and the circ history, that's why merging is a good idea. The only part that wasn't super clear was with regards to Library to Go, which you'll need to contact Heidi Florzen at Hermiston to get those accounts merged. So if they have Library to Go kind of history and they've changed accounts or changed barcodes, especially libraries, it would be a good idea to email Heidi with kind of probably with the old and the new barcode as well as the patron's information. Maybe not personal, but just so she knows what to send to Library to Go when those patrons are merged. So we should also mention something about Library to Go in this. And that will also be good for retaining the logins if the patron has a non-standard login that's not their barcode. Yeah. All right, and that account policy is what we're working on right here with regards to the duplicates. Not December anymore. All right. So I'm just kind of blazing through this on my own, but with regards to action items, kind of right now, what I've just been doing is going through to make sure everything we have on the upgrade has been working well. There have been a few things I've had to put back in. For example, these like GMD descriptors in the title. Those were just put back in. And also from, I was talking with Maura, but Catherine and someone else, I'm missing the name now. But at Pendleton mentioned that the drop-down boxes had gotten, the sizing was a lot smaller. So those are now built up to be the same as the usual. So if you go to search here, not only are these a lot bigger, but the selector boxes are as well. And that jumps into numeric search. Same with the ISBN. That was pretty small before. Now it's quite a bit bigger. I think, yep, expert search too. For those crazy catalogers or people that want to search by specific tags and values. I almost want to label this crazy search, but that's not right. So we won't do that. Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the search?
Mm-hmm.
Where there used to be a place at the top of any search where you could sort by newest to oldest, etc., and I don't see where that is now.
Oh yeah. So I will show you because that got moved around a bit. And that's all look to the left. You see this right here?
I got moved. Gotcha.
Yeah, so this used to be up
there
here,
at the top. Yeah.
but everything got shoved to the left.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, sort by relevance, and you can also see the newer sort by popularity, which will be cool when we've set it up, but it's a little new, so nothing has really been super sorted yet by that. But yeah, to your answer, those are in the left-hand side now. And it's also good because it wasn't available for people using on their phones. So if I do a search now, just kind of show you what it looks like. And you want, there's a whole lot that's changed, but if you want to now refine it and sort by relevance or age, you would just click refine results, which will kick you out to here, which is basically that left gutter.
Yeah.
And you can, I should be able to sort by relevance. That's good. Maybe I need to do that now. Thought it was there. And then they'll just click back to results. And it'll put you right here. That's good. I need to remember to do that. Okay. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of changes. I'm trying to think of the ones. Those are the highlights I had with regards to Circ. Um, there's some other big ones. Uh, I think it's mainly just display stuff. So, for example, if I try to place a hold now, um, this is all changed a little bit, but I'll log in with my account. You'll see the account box has changed, as well as the title is now highlighted a little bit. Uh, the pickup location's a little bigger. Um, and with advanced hold options, um, that's also there. I need to bring those sizes up, but so yeah, that displays a little bit different. As well as there used to be, this used to be called just basic search. You'll notice like if you click on advanced search, it just goes to search the catalog. Um, and you can always click basic search to get right back to the main page or catalog home or the logo. But that was kind of an option to, we had a lot of extra stuff piling up here that I wanted to clean up. I think it's pretty intuitive on how to search now. So that's something new. I don't think with regards to Circ, there's a lot more. Oh, with now I do remember this box right here is I'm just kind of calling the action box. The patrons will see the hold as well as being able to add, print, or put on a list. Permalink is just a link that they can share if you need to know how to get to this record as a URI that will never change. That's the link for that. That's now removed in the staff client. So if we go to this record real quick, I think I remember how to do this. See, it looks a little different. That URI is not there anymore because it doesn't really matter to the patron, or sorry, the person using the staff client. They don't need that URL. They're using the client. There's also, I've cleaned up the cache, which is what you will click if you have changed the 020 or the 024, and this jacket is not what you want to see. So you would just click the clear cache button, and it gives you this lovely display, which you can click out of, and then you would reload the page to see the new information, of which there's none right now. Oops. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know we're kind of coming up on the hour here, but is there anything else I can kind of help this large group out with? I don't know. Have Beth, have you or Maura had any emails or encountered anything I know it's not been a heavy use week already, but have you encountered anything with Circ that's kind of been new or different, or people aren't able to use as before?
I haven't.
I really haven't either. There was the one ticket that somebody was concerned about the active date still controlling the message in the age protection.
Mm-hmm. So,
Um,
that the age protection starts on active date?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because we're displaying create date in the right now, that's the date that's displaying.
Okay.
And I think that they were concerned that, oh, since create date's displaying, maybe our active date is no longer functioning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just something to look at. Do we want to display active date or create date?
Yeah, that would be.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. I think just off the top of my head, I see create date as being kind of more useful for people that want to look at when the item itself was created. An active date usually happens, I mean, what, within a day or so, maybe the same day?
yeah, this particular library, they said that that process can sometimes be 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Um, so they didn't want to lose, almost a month off of their 3-month age protection.
Hmm.
So I understood their concern. For a lot of people, the create date and active date are pretty close.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge deal. Really depends on the library.
Yeah, and we could change that certainly to active date. I mean, everyone can see the information if they go into the item attributes for that item, but I think this is just what it's been set in the stock evergreen. I know there's been talk about that though, because this age protection, at least for us, the way it's displayed here is not standard. Um, so no one's using that right now. Okay, trying to think. With regards to the staff client as well, the display's been cleaned up, so there's no longer any extra stuff to put it accurately up here in the header, and the footer is gone. So all of those extra links that you would see here, oops, just replayed, but this footer section is no longer visible in the staff client, which helps because it's a little less resources to load and it's not information that we need when in the staff client. So it cleans up that display a bit. Yeah. One of the re-ingests that's going to be happening is going to fix these genre links for right now, and I think since time immemorial with Evergreen, these genre links have been launching, I think they're subject searches. Let me just check out a record here to see if I can show that. So we have genre, and you can kind of see some of them. I don't know if you can read it, but we go to like biographical films here, for instance. You can kind of see that it's a subject search on genre, but they're not at all accurate 100%. You can see that they all have different URLs. And part of that update is going to put these all together so that they do the same kind of search you expect when you're looking for genre. But that'll probably be finished over the weekend when when things are a little quieter. But I haven't heard any complaints about that, at least in the interim. Okay. Then just one more thing with the staff clients. If we do a search, I don't know if anyone ever used this feature before, but as soon as it comes up, I'll show you. I've styled this a little differently now, this recent searches. It was always here, but when we click that now, it'll drop down to what the previous searches we had done are. Again, not super intuitive to everybody. Definitely users wouldn't see this, but if you're doing a lot of searches and you can't remember what you last did as a staff member, you have the option to use this. Yep. And that's also, yeah, just more, it's in the same place in the staff client here, the sort by. Okay, well, that's, I think, all I've got really for today. Is there anything else I can add or go over, Beth or more, or something that you guys would like to say?
Nothing from me. I'll read the stuff about patrons moving and merging and stuff and get back to you with thoughts about that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're probably done here. So what I'm going to do next is just I'll put up the recording and the chat logs and all that like we usually do, so people can go over that haven't been able to. And I'll do that shortly after this. But thank you, Beth and Maura, for digitally making it today. I feel like Hood
You're
River
welcome.
closed the
Thanks
last week. So,
for,
yeah.
thanks for doing it, Brent.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Be sure to let me know too if either of you guys run across some broken functionality or something that needs to be fixed, and I'll get on that.
All right, I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys.